Build day, baby. Today is the day, man. I've been waiting a whole month to get this bike together, started up and running, and today is finally the day where I'm putting in the work. So let's just get right to it. But as you can see real quick, she looks a little different too. That blue paint I was talking about is what I went ahead and laid down up here on the fairing and the nose piece. And the outside of the rims is what really set this thing off. And I mean, it looks beautiful like that. Everything that I had envisioned in my mind came together just as I thought. To match the Polini sticker back here, that looks really good. I took care of that nasty looking spring with fresh blue paint. That sets it off. Man, this bike looks good. Also, I put on the pipe over here, and what we're gonna do is get ahead and dig into this first, but that's where we're at right now, man. Beautiful looking piece, ready to be built. Now there's a few pain in the ass things to get out the way before we get into hooking everything back up, getting fluid in the carburetor and everything else. There's this bracket that doesn't fit. It's meant for this bike, but it doesn't fit at all. But so no big deal. I'm gonna Dremel out something. I'm gonna Dremel out the bracket and I'm gonna throw some different screws in there and get it together. No problem, but just the process. We're gonna go from the brackets to the throttle cable, to the choke cable, to the thermostat, because we gotta wire everything up. After we take care of that, that's when we start hooking stuff up, baby. There might be some other few things I run into, you know, but today I'm putting everything together that needs to be, but I'm taking care of the hardest, longest process things first. So I'm just trying to hop right into this bracket and show you what's going on. Let's do this, man. So here's where this links into, and here's where it's supposed to line up and stay flush with. As you can see, it doesn't. So I gotta Dremel this out back and create a slot for it so I can fit that bolt in there. Then I could put this bolt in here. But also, because of that, this piece is also short. But good news, this thing comes with an extension piece. I'm going to take this extension piece and I'm going to connect it like this so that it'll be able to support the top and bottom bracket together. Let's get right to it. Bracket is in there. Everything went together really well, actually. It's super sturdy. I'm really glad they included this piece because it's one solid unit now. It's exactly what we wanted. Next problem. This fan shroud does not clear the pipe anymore because it's so much bigger than the stock one. It almost fits up, but there's definitely some room. So either I gotta cut out a piece of that and line it with this wire mesh back here that I gotta measure everything up, or just make a shroud out of wire mesh. I'm gonna look at this for a minute, but we gotta get it to clear on the bottom right there to get this back on there. Fan shroud is cut. I cut out a chunk of it and I installed wire mesh in between to block out pebbles and debris. Should be good. Looks good. Functional is key right now. Choke cable installed and works. Just like that. That was no easy process though. It took me an hour and a half to do. That's some tedious work right there, I'll tell you what, but good to go on that. Throttle cable is in there, but it is too damn long. I'm getting nothing, absolutely nothing. So I gotta go through this and figure out how I can shorten it up because, yeah, that's not good. It's tightened all the way down too. Nothing is easy with this. All right, this is not recommended, but I have zip ties stacked up on top of each other to make up for the slack so I can get this thing heat cycled. So it does open up and it does close. That's what I'm going for. I just need throttle to get this thing heat cycled. But if I pull it consistently, it opens and closes. But it doesn't even open full throttle, which is kind of a good thing, honestly. So this is gonna work for now, but I'm definitely gotta have to get a new throttle cable because nobody tells you this, but that's gonna work just for the heat cycle. Okay. Got the gas tank drained so I can fill it up with 1 gallon of gas and mix it properly with a 32-to-1 ratio. Got all the wires where everything need to be. Everything is hooked up that needs to be hooked up. Got the bike grounded. Got all the lights, all the freaking starter stuff. Every wire that needs to be where it's at is at where it's at. There's some things left undone like down there because I deleted my oil pump, but that's like that for a reason. So right now, inside of this, everything is good to go. Now we just need to get that temp gauge on that plug. Well, Koso is on some bullshit. You get all this stuff and they don't even include the head temp sensor. It's an accessory. If it's an option accessory, they give you the option to have it, and you have to buy it separately. The whole point is to have the cylinder head temp sensor, and they give you all this crap, but they don't give you the temp sensor. You got to buy it separately when you already bought this separate. So, you know, this build is kind of frustrating, and some of these parts, geez, dude. Since we don't have that temp gauge, and it's very important to starting this thing up, making sure it doesn't overheat, because that's the whole reason I blew the motor to begin with, man. So we're just gonna throw in the battery for now and get this bike some power still. I got the battery all hooked up. Let's see if this thing still got power. Clock turns on. Let's see if the brake light goes. Yep. Turn signals. This thing clicks into place too. It's a solid feeling click. Nice. Listen to it. I like this so much. Click. That's a solid feeling. Other turn signal. Yep. Good deal, man. So this bike still has power. Good. That's what I wanted to see. The brake cable's still just chilling there. Let's do that real quick. Brake cable's back on and good to go. That is unfortunate. Koso really dropped the ball on this one, dude. How are you gonna have a digital temp gauge sensor with all the wires included, everything you need? Freaking, it even has water temp lines included, but not the head temp sensor that goes to the spark plug. Everything else but. Now the good news is that Scooter Tuners here in Monroe has a Koso head temp sensor itself. I know they do. I've seen it. They got one left, so I'm gonna go pick that up. But come on, man. But there's still some stuff to dial in anyways, little things. The headlight is still all fogged up and stuff, and it can be coated again and cleared up and looking brand new and fresh. Same thing with the turn signals back here. This tail light still won't stay in place. What I ended up doing is getting Velcro, and I tried Velcroing it to it, because I actually did that on a piece of that bike over there nobody knows about. But I tried Velcroing this thing in here, and it just don't stick. So I'm just gonna get some liquid rubber, hit it with that, and then put it on the Velcro, tape it, and let it sit overnight so we can have a stable tail light. Also, there's a lot of lines in here, like the cable choke and then the actual throttle cable itself, which I'm gonna need to get one that's short. This is only gonna work for, you know, startup things, but I just want to clean up everything in here because it's messy. You know, it can be tidied up a whole lot. So overall, this thing is like 98% done, and I say 98 because I want to get that sensor on there and just dial up everything else around here and the new throttle cable. So unfortunate, I know, guys, this sucks, but I'm not going to start this thing up without that. The whole reason I, you know, locked up the motor in the first place is because it overheated, especially with the heat cycle and first runs. There's no way. I don't want to rush things and then regret it by instantly blowing up the motor again. So I'm disappointed. I fully expected to have this thing running and ripping, but you know, that's life. Koso. But it is what it is. Next weekend, we're gonna fill this thing up with oil and gas. We're gonna get that sensor on there. Everything else will be dialed in that I explained. And we're gonna start this bike up. Man, but thank you for watching and following this build. We're so close. We are this close. I can't wait. I'm pumped. But yep, I'll take care of everything else. A few things tonight. Next weekend. That's the time. Thank you so much. I'll be around. This bike is around. Till next time.